Now time for SME On Point. Our featured business of the week shows us how smart invention of incorporating vegetables into daily staples can promote healthy living. We caught up with the Spinach King as he prepares to open his fourth branch that specializes in spinach bread and also rolls. He also shares the story of how good the lockdown period has been for his business. Let's take a look at this insert that is edited by Manqoba Nkosi. Lufefe Nomjana owns an agro-processing company that incorporates vegetables such as spinach to make a healthy lifestyle cool.
When I grew up in a family where my mother used to work for a vegetarian college, where she used to bring us leftovers of the good food, like your watermelon, fruit kebabs, things you cannot find, in the township that time in terms of our culture of eating.
This piqued interest in young Nomjana, leading him to volunteer in community gardens, which led him to fall head over heels in love with spinach.
I did my research and I discovered that one spinach leaf, just one, consists of 13 phytochemicals such as syringeric acids, campherols, and these are body benefits that are to boost your health, but to prevent one from cardiovascular illnesses and chronic diseases. So once I got to understand that, then I decided to incorporate spinach in daily consumed products, such as inventing the spinach bread, inventing the gluten-free spinach burgers, spinach juices, spinach sandwiches, just to make sure that when people are looking for an alternative, healthier, innovative, convenient, but also something that when they eat, they forget about their fast food.
Nomjana says the Spinach King bread is the disruption in the future of bread.
What we looked at is to be an affordable gluten-free provider in the market nationally. So we are certified gluten-free, but we've managed to actually curb the price, in terms of the input costs by negotiating, since we're 100%, we're BEE level 1 as the company. So we managed to definitely negotiate for deals in terms of our supply chain, where at least we're not paying much, though we're not buying as the corporate. So somehow we are very affordable, not cheap, but affordable.
Although COVID-19 has brought about devastation among many businesses, but for the Spinach King, it has been something of a blessing.
People are now out. We're now out to eat healthy. People were out to boost their immune systems. And all of a sudden, it was a thing, that we've never seen at Spinach King, because we've been preaching healthy eating and healthy lifestyle, and people were just not much interested in it. But now when this was enforced as a healthy lifestyle, healthy eating enforcement for you to survive, that's when people started panicking and buying more. So Spinach King is actually expanded through COVID-19 and because of COVID-19.
Diabo Seto, SABC News, Johannesburg. Thank you so much, Lufefe, the Spinach King, for letting us into your beautiful space. Remember that we are on a Facebook page at SME OnPoint, as well as the SABC YouTube channel, which, by the way, has breached the 1 million mark of subscribers. So that means that a lot more people are watching SABC News via YouTube. So yesterday, President Cyril Ramaphosa tabled his economic recovery plan, which was met with mixed reaction. While there was no direct interventions for the small business sector, but there were interventions that were announced which business will benefit from. Among these are reliable energy supply and reduced data costs, for instance. I've invited two entrepreneur experts, David Morobe from Business Limited Partners, and Dr. Roche Mamabolo from the Lora Centre for Entrepreneurship, to give us the view of the economic recovery plan, and I hope that they're ready on Skype. Yes, they are. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on SME OnPoint.
Thank you for having us.
First of all, let me start with you, Mr. Morobe. Your quick analysis of the economic recovery plan. There's been a lot of criticism about it. What do you think about it?
Well, I think we welcome that reconstruction and recovery plan that was presented by the President, but would have wished to see a more direct focus on small and medium businesses. We refer to them as the backbone of our economy.
Yeah.
And so we would like to see a bit more focus, because they are very keen to to alleviating the huge unemployment challenge that we are facing in the country. I think against the backdrop of what was reported by Stats SA, that 2 million jobs have been lost in the last quarter or in the second quarter. It is therefore important, if job creation is central to this economic and recovery plan, that small businesses also find a key central point, and that's what we would have wished for as business partners.
Thank you very much. Dr. Mamabolo, the plan does mention the issue of 800,000 work opportunities, which I think is where SMEs can play a role. Do you agree with that?
I think I agree with that, Diab. I think one of the biggest challenges that we have had, or that we continue to have in our country, more over and above the fact that I think it's a welcome plan. I think it has always been an issue of implementation. We always have amazing plans and documents on paper, but when it comes to implementing those documents or those plans, it becomes a challenge. So I think even with this plan that the president has spoke about yesterday, the biggest challenge for me remains implementation. Those job opportunities that they are talking about, it's an amazing plan, but we all know what the challenges are, especially when it comes to corruption, inefficiency, government. So that remains a big challenge for me.
Right. Mr. Morobe, let me come back to you and let's talk about this reliable energy plan and also the reduction of data costs and access. That excited me in particular because I know the impact that it has on small businesses, high data costs, as well as an unreliable energy or unsecured energy plan when you are trying to work and then we have load shedding out of the blue. That does kill business. This excited me. Did it excite you?
Indeed, it has excited us, and I'm sure with many of our small businesses as well, because it has been something where during our surveys we have found out that an unreliable energy supply is something that can be very erratic to businesses. You can lose enormous amount of stock. Your equipment can be breaking from time to time. So something has been done, and it's long overdue. And I think it's something that now, as Dr. Roche is saying, that we have a more a focused implementation approach. And then when you come to data cost as well, especially in rolling out affordable access on the broadband to our lower income communities, that is also something that can unlock so many businesses. Our young entrepreneurs can leverage this accessibility.
Yeah. Dr. Mamabolo, let's talk about the plan talking about the reversal of the decline of the manufacturing sector. We know that since from 2009, we have seen the sector, it hasn't recovered since. And I was reading an interesting article this morning talking about how the Foschini Group, as well as I think Mr. Price, are now going to prioritize local designers and manufacturers in their store. This is a great start, isn't it?
It is a great start, and I think what it will do is it will drive job creation in our country. The biggest challenge has always been, and the reason why we lost those jobs in the manufacturing space has always been, a high wage bill that most companies could not afford, and it was cheaper for them to actually import from China. But I think this, for me, is welcome news. I'm really looking forward to more other, groups also following suit to what the Foschini Group are doing. I think it's going to take a bit of convincing in terms of other players to also follow suit. But I think what COVID has done is it has given us that opportunity to actually say it's safer for us to actually manufacture locally and distribute locally.
In this last minute, let me share this question between the two of you. Mr. Morobe, let's talk about the businesses in the tourism sector. It is a sector that has a possibility of creating a lot more jobs, as we did say earlier on that we do need jobs, but it needs to be supported heavily. Is this a time, or would you say that this is a time to focus on domestic traveling and looking at the businesses that are doing the traveling and making it more affordable for South Africans to travel domestically?
Indeed, I think we must focus on making that side of the economy also lively, because it's very labor intensive. And at least at domestic travel, you can still observe the protocols as to how many people should be gathered at any one time. There should be weddings still happening. Those people, they will have jobs that can sustain them moving forward. I think we should resuscitate that sector.
Dr. Mamabolo?
Absolutely. I think, we all know that for domestic travel, like David Morobe has said, has a huge opportunity to drive job creation. And I think for me, it's a good starting point. And of course, when we get to levels where we can even welcome international travelers, it will be a huge build on to what we already have.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your contribution on SME OnPoint. I really do thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So that was Dr. Roche Mamabolo. He's with the Lora Centre for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and David Morobe, who is with Business Partners Limited. And they were giving us their views on yesterday's economic recovery plan as it was outlined in Parliament by President Cyril Ramaphosa. And that's all from SME OnPoint for this week.